We hear so much about Odysseus getting back to Ithaca. You know, the clever plans, the bloody revenge. But what comes after? That quiet, maybe slightly unsettling bit? Today we're really diving into Book XXIV of Homer's Odyssey. It's the final chapter. We want to unpack the ripple effects of what Odysseus did, those really moving family reunions, and how Ithaca actually finds peace. It's maybe not how you'd expect. Welcome to the deep dive. Our goal here is to pull out the key insights from these incredible ancient texts. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding the complicated aftermath of Odysseus finally coming home. Hopefully you'll have some aha moments about things like justice, reconciliation, and the role of the gods in all this. Our main source is Book XXIV of the Odyssey itself. It gives us this detailed picture of what's happening down in the underworld and back on Ithaca. Okay, let's get into it. So we actually start not on sunny Ithaca, but down in the underworld, the realm of the dead. Hermes of Kyllene, the messenger god, often seen as a healer. He's got a different job here.
Right, he's the psychopomp, the guide for the souls. In this case, the souls of the suitors Odysseus killed. He has that golden staff, the one that can make people sleep or wake them up.
And the image of them following him is, well, it's chilling. They're gibbering.
Exactly. Homer compares them to bats in a cave, flittering and chattering, and if one falls, they all scatter. It's not a noble procession.
No, definitely not. It sets a really somber tone straight away. These aren't heroes. They're just like shadows.
Yeah, gibbering images. It really emphasizes how inglorious their end was, unmourned. And Hermes guides them on this journey past the ocean stream, the white rock, the gates of Helios, the sun.
The sun god's gates, wow.
And the land of dreams until they finally reach the meadow of Asphodel. That's where souls dwell.
And who's waiting there in this Asphodel meadow? Some pretty big names.
Oh, yeah. The legends. You've got Achilles, his best friend Patroclus, swift Antilochus, and Aias, the big guy, second only to Achilles among the Greeks at Troy.
And then Agamemnon shows up, still looking sorrowful, with the souls of the men who died with him back home.
Right, the ones killed by Aegisthus.
So why these specific heroes? What's the point of having them meet the suitors' souls?
Well, Homer puts them there, I think, very deliberately. It sets up this immediate stark contrast. You have the idea of a glorious, heroic death versus a shameful, ignominious end.
Like Achilles versus Agamemnon, even.
Exactly. Achilles speaks first, and he actually pities Agamemnon for dying pitifully at home, murdered. He contrasts it with his own death, fighting gloriously at Troy. He even says, if only you died in Troy, everyone would have honored you, built you a mound. Your son would have glory.
Wow. So your death really defines your eternal reputation.
Absolutely. It's central to their whole worldview. How you die, how you're mourned, that shapes your Cleos, your undying fame, or lack thereof.
That makes sense. And then Agamemnon responds with this incredible description of Achilles' funeral. It's just mind-blowing.
It really is. He talks about the fight over the body, how they cleaned and anointed him, the soldiers weeping.
But then his mother, Thetis, the sea goddess, shows up.
Yeah, with all the immortal sea nymphs, and their cry apparently echoed across the whole sea, terrifying the Achaean soldiers.
An immortal cry. I can't even imagine.
It's cosmic grief. Nestor, the wise old counselor, had to calm everyone down, explain what was happening.
And the muses, all 9 muses sang.
All 9, singing this beautiful antiphonal lament. Imagine that sound. Homer says it moved every single Greek soldier to tears.
17 days and nights of mourning.
By gods and mortals alike. Then the cremation on the 18th day, incredibly lavish. Fat sheep, cattle burned in divine clothing, ointments, honey.
And the heroes marching around the pyre in full armor, horses and foot soldiers making this huge noise.
A real warrior's send-off. Then they gather his bones, mix them with wine and unguents, put them in this special golden jar from Dionysus, made by Hephaestus himself.
The divine craftsman. And they mixed his bones with Patroclus's.
Yes, but kept separate from Antilochus. Another friend Achilles valued. Shows the hierarchy even in death.
And the final touch, the huge burial mound.
Right, on a headland by the Hellespont, visible forever, a permanent monument to his glory. Thetis even held funeral games with amazing prizes. The whole account just hammers home that point. Achilles achieved undying fame.
While Agamemnon is stuck lamenting his own dismal destruction by his cursed wife and Aegisthus, The contrast couldn't be clearer.
Exactly. Reputation follows you, even, or maybe especially in the afterlife.
Okay, so while Achilles and Agamemnon are having this rather intense conversation about legacies.
Right. Suddenly Hermes arrives with the main group, the suitors' souls.
And Agamemnon spots someone he knows.
Yeah, Amphimedon. Apparently Agamemnon had been a guest friend in his house back on Ithaca. Small world, even in the underworld.
So Agamemnon asks him, how did all you fine young men end up here? Was it shipwreck? A battle? He wants the story.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because now we hear the whole saga of Odysseus' return, but from the perspective of the guys who lost.
The suitors' version of events.
Precisely. Amphimedon starts with the long courtship of Penelope, Odysseus' wife, who'd been waiting forever. He mentions her stratagem.
The famous weaving trick, the shroud for Laertes.
Yeah, he explains how she set up the loom, claiming she needed to weave this burial shroud for Odysseus' old father to avoid shame. But as he tells it, she wove all day and then secretly unraveled it all at night by torchlight. For 3 years.
3 years. That's incredible patience and cunning.
Absolutely. But Amphimedon says in the 4th year, one of her maids spilled the beans, basically.
Betrayed by her own staff.
Seems so. So they forced her to finish it. And he even mentions how beautiful it was when she did, like, the sun or moon.
Then what? How does he explain Odysseus showing up?
He calls it an evil spirit that brought Odysseus back. Disguised, of course, as this pathetic old beggar leaning on a stick.
Right, the classic disguise.
And he notes Telemachus had just gotten back from his trip to Pylos. Interesting they clock that.
So from their perspective, Odysseus just appeared out of nowhere while they were, well, being themselves.
Pretty much. Amphimedon recounts how Odysseus endured their insults and even physical abuse in his own home. Then he says, prompted by Zeus, Odysseus and Telemachus snuck away all the armor that was hanging on the walls.
Disarming them before the fight. Clever.
Very. And then Amphimedon says, Odysseus pushed Penelope to set up the bow contest. He calls it the start of our slaughter. Kind of chillingly accurate from his viewpoint.
And he admits they all failed to string the bow.
Oh yeah, he emphasizes their weakness. None of them could do it.
Then Odysseus steps up.
The beggar strings it easily, shoots an arrow clean through the axe head, stands tall on the threshold, glaring, boom. Shoots Antinous first.
And then just starts picking them off.
With baneful arrows, as Amphimedon puts it. And crucially, he says an immortal god was there helping Odysseus. Looked like Mentor.
Athene, of course.
Right. He describes the god urging Odysseus on, routing the suitors. The description of the fight is brutal.
Yeah.
Men being chased down, killed one by one, the floor smoking with blood, horrible cries, heads being smashed. It's graphic.
And the final insult for them.
Their bodies are just lying there uncared for in Odysseus's halls. Their families don't even know yet, can't perform the burial rites. A terrible end in their culture.
Wow. Hearing it from their side really adds a layer. But how does Agamemnon react to this story?
He immediately praises Penelope, her great virtue, her loyalty, holding Odysseus in her heart. He directly contrasts her with his own wife, Clytemnestra, daughter of Tyndareos, he calls her, and her evil deeds in murdering him.
So Penelope becomes the ultimate example of the faithful wife, Clytemnestra, the treacherous one.
Exactly. Agamemnon even prophesies that Penelope's fame, her virtue, will never die away. The gods will make sure she has a thing of grace in the song, unlike Clytemnestra.
It really drives home those core values, loyalty, memory, how your actions echo, especially for women in this world.
And it highlights the power of narrative. Who gets remembered well, who gets remembered poorly. Even the dead are concerned with their story.
Okay, so that's the grim report from the underworld. Let's shift back to Ithaca now. Odysseus isn't resting, is he?
No, not at all. He, Telemachus, and the 2 loyal herdsmen, the oxherd and swineherd, head out to the countryside.
To find his father, Laertes.
Right, to Laertes' farm. Homer describes it as handsomely cultivated, but reclaimed through Laertes' own hard work in his grief.
And the description of Laertes himself is just devastating.
It really is. He's alone in the orchard, digging around a plant, wearing this awful patched tunic, rough leggings made of oxide, gloves to protect from thorns, and a goatskin cap.
He sounds completely broken down.
Absolutely. Every detail screams misery, deep sorrow for Odysseus. He's a king reduced to this, looking like the poorest laborer, all because of grief.
And Odysseus sees him like this. How does he react?
Homer says he felt great misery in his heart, tears welling up. But then Odysseus hesitates.
He doesn't just run to him.
No, he actually debates. Should he embrace him right away? Or should he test him first? With words of mockery, even.
Mockery? Why test his own grieving father? That seems almost cruel.
It's very Odysseus, isn't it? That caution, that need to test everyone, even family. Maybe after 20 years of deception and fighting, he can't just switch it off. He needs to be sure.
Sure of what? His father's loyalty?
Maybe his loyalty, maybe just his state of mind. Or maybe it's Odysseus's way of gauging the depth of the grief before revealing himself. It's complex.
So what does he say?
He walks up and starts by praising the orchard, figs, vines, olives, pears, neat rows of vegetables, says it's beautifully kept. But then he immediately pivots to Laertes' appearance, says he looks terrible, uncared for, even though he has the air of royalty, not a slave.
Kind of a baguette compliment.
Totally. Then he asks, whose slave are you? Whose orchard is this? And say, is this really Ithaca?
And he brings up Odysseus.
Yeah, he spins this tale about how years ago he hosted an Ithacan traveler named Odysseus, son of Laertes. Says he gave him loads of gifts, gold, silver bowl, clothes, even 4 skilled serving women, just twisting the knife, really.
Oh, man. How does Laertes respond to that?
It's heartbreaking. He confirms, yes, this is Ithaca, but violent and reckless men are in charge now, and he just pours out his despair about Odysseus. He assumes he's dead, eaten by fish, torn apart by animals. He laments that he and Odysseus' mother and Penelope never got to mourn him properly, never closed his eyes. The lack of proper rites haunts him.
That's rough. Does he ask who Odysseus is?
Yes, he asks for the stranger's name, his city, parents, how he got there.
Does Odysseus tell him the truth now?
Not yet. Still testing. He gives another false name. Eperitos from Alabus, son of Iphitus, blown off course from Sicania, probably Sicily. He claims it's been 5 years since Odysseus left his country, saying the bird signs were good back then, hoping they'd meet again.
And that finally breaks Laertes.
Completely. Homer says a black cloud of sorrow covers Laertes. He scoops up handfuls of dirt, grimy dust, and pours it over his gray head, groaning nonstop. Just pure physical grief.
That must have been unbearable for Odysseus to watch.
It seems to be the breaking point. Odysseus' spirit surges, Homer says, with bitter force. He can't take it anymore. He rushes forward, throws his arms around his father, kisses him, and finally says it. Father, I am he, the man whom you ask about. I am here, back in the 20th year. And he tells him he's killed the suitors.
What a moment. Relief, disbelief.
Disbelief is right. Laertes, still reeling, asks for proof. Unmistakable signs.
And Odysseus has them ready.
2 definitive proofs. First, the famous scar. The one he got from a wild boar hunt on Mount Parnassus when he was young, visiting his grandfather Autolycus.
The scar that Euryclea recognized?
The very same. And second, something incredibly personal. He lists the specific trees Laertes gave him when he was a boy, walking through that very orchard.
What, like specific numbers?
Exactly. 13 pear trees, he says, 10 apple trees, 40 fig trees, and even 50 rows of grapevines that Laertes promised him, each ripening at different times.
Wow. Only they would know that.
Precisely. It's the intimate shared memory that cuts through all doubt.
And Laertes finally believes him.
Oh, yes. His knees give way, his heart melts, he throws his arms around Odysseus. Odysseus has to hold him tight as Laertes nearly faints from the shock and emotion.
Just incredible. After 20 years. So what happens after the initial shock wears off?
Well, Laertes' first thought, once he recovers, is practical. Fear. He worries the Ithacans, the suitors' families, will come for revenge.
A valid concern.
Odysseus reassures him, tells him not to worry for now. Then there's this lovely little moment of rejuvenation.
Oh, yes, the cleanup.
The Sicilian serving woman bathes Laertes, anoints him with oil, and then a scene steps in.
Goddess Magus.
A little touch. She makes him look taller, stronger, more regal, like an immortal god, Homer says. Telemachus is amazed.
And Laertes feels it too.
He does. He wishes aloud that he'd been that strong the day before, so he could have helped fight the suitors. The old fire is back.
That's great. It feels like the family unit is finally healing.
It really is. And then Dolios, the old loyal servant Laertes got from Penelope's father, arrives with his sons from working in the fields. They recognize Odysseus, rejoice, and join them for a meal. Dolios even asks if Penelope knows Odysseus is back.
And Odysseus confirms she does.
Yes. It cements the feeling that the household, the core family unit, is finally whole again.
But this reunion isn't just personal, is it? It feels bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's symbolic. By gaining the acceptance of his aged, vulnerable father, Odysseus is re-legitimizing his own kingship. It's not just about force. It's about the restoration of the proper family line, witnessed and even aided by the gods. It's the foundation needed before they can deal with the wider island.
Right, because the island is definitely not settled yet. The peace within the palace walls hasn't spread.
Not at all. As they're having this family meal, Rumor, personified as a messenger goddess, almost is flying through the city.
Spreading the news about the dead suitors.
Exactly. People start gathering outside Odysseus's palace, groaning, crying as they see the corpses being carried out for burial. It's raw grief turning into anger.
And someone steps up to channel that anger.
Yes. Eupeithes. He's the father of Antinous, who is arguably the lead suitor and the first one Odysseus killed.
So he has a very personal reason to be furious.
Deeply personal. He stands up in the assembly full of sorrow, and he blames Odysseus for everything. Not just the recent killings, but also for taking Ithaca's best men to Troy and losing them and the ships.
So he's broadening the blame.
Yes, framing Odysseus as this destructive force. And now, he says, Odysseus has killed the best of the next generation, the best men of the Cephallenians, that includes Ithacans and men from nearby islands.
And he wants immediate action.
He calls for revenge now, before Odysseus can escape. He says he'd rather die himself than let Odysseus get away with it. It's pure vengeance driving him.
This sounds like it could easily spiral into civil war.
Easily. But then we see the beginnings of divine, or at least divinely inspired, counter-arguments.
How so?
Maiden, the herald Odysseus spared, and Phemios, the bard he also spared, come out from the palace. People are surprised to see them alive.
And Medon speaks up.
Yes. He tells the assembly that Odysseus didn't act alone. He says flat out, this happened not without the consent of immortal gods. He claims he saw a god looking like Mentor right beside Odysseus, urging him on and helping defeat the suitors.
So planting the idea that this was divinely sanctioned violence?
Exactly. A direct challenge to Eupeithes' call for simple revenge.
And does anyone else support that view?
Yes, Halitherses. He's an old warrior known for his wisdom and ability to read omens. He stands up next. And he doesn't blame Odysseus. He blames the Ithacans themselves specifically, the fathers in the assembly.
He blames the fathers. Why?
For their own weakness. He says they failed to control their sons who committed a great wrong by disrespecting Odysseus' wife and plundering his house while he was presumed dead. He basically says, you let this happen through your inaction.
Wow, that's a tough message. Don't take revenge, it's partly your fault.
A very tough message. He advises them not to fight Odysseus, warning it will only bring more evil upon themselves.
So you have grief and rage versus divine warning and self-blame. How does the assembly react?
Sadly, Homer tells us, more than half the crowd ignores Halitherses. They're swayed by Eupeithes' grief and anger. They shout their approval for war, grab their armor, and follow Eupeithes out.
Even though he's leading them to their doom, as Homer points out.
Exactly. Rage wins over wisdom for the moment.
So it looks like one last battle is unavoidable. But meanwhile, up on Olympus.
Yeah, we get this crucial conversation between Athena and her father, Zeus.
She asks them what the plan is, right? More fighting? Or is it time for peace?
Pretty much. Do you intend more evil fighting and terrible groaning, or will you impose friendship between the two sides?
And Zeus's response is key.
Very key. He basically says to Athene, well, wasn't this your plan all along for Odysseus to come back and punish these guys?
So he's putting it back on her slightly.
A little bit. But then he lays out his divine decree for Ithaca's future.
Which is?
Peace. He says, let them make their oaths of faith and friendship, and let him, Odysseus, be king always. And crucially, let us make them forget the death of their brothers and sons. Let them be friends with each other, as in the time past, and let them have prosperity and peace and abundance.
Forget the deaths. Is that even possible?
Zeus seems to think it's necessary. A divinely enforced amnesia, almost, for the sake of lasting peace.
Wow. Okay, so Athene gets the green light for peace.
She does. And she immediately darts down from Olympus to Ithaca.
Okay, so down on Ithaca, Odysseus and his group are armed and ready. Who's with him now?
It's Odysseus, Telemachus, the two loyal herdsmen, Dolios and Dolios' 6 sons, and significantly, Laertes himself is armed for battle.
The old king is going to fight.
Homer notes that he and Dolios, though gray-haired, are fighters perforce. They have to fight to defend their home and king.
And Athene arrives. Does she reveal herself?
Yeah, not fully. She takes on the form of Mentor again.
Odysseus gives Telemachus a pep talk.
Yeah, tells him to be brave, uphold the family honor. Telemachus vows he won't shame them. It's a nice father-son moment before battle.
And Laertes?
Laertes is overjoyed seeing his son and grandson ready to fight side by side. He calls it the best day of his life.
Then Athena gives Laertes a little boost.
She does. She tells him to pray to her and Zeus and then throw his spear with all his might. He prays, Athena fills him with strength, and he hurls his long spear.
Yeah.
Bullseye. It hits Eupeithes right on the bronze cheek piece of his helmet, goes right through. Eupeithes falls with a crash.
Laertes gets the first kill, revenge for his son, in a way.
A powerful moment for the old man. Then Odysseus and Telemachus charge into the enemy ranks.
And they start cutting them down.
They do. Homer says they would have killed them all, routed them completely.
But Athena steps in.
Yes. Just as Odysseus is about to finish them off, Athena, in her own voice this time, cries out loud, "Hold back, men of Ithaca, from the wearisome fighting, so that most soon and without blood you can settle everything."
A literal command from a goddess. How did the attackers react?
Instant panic. Green fear seizes them. They drop their weapons and turn to run back to the city.
Does Odysseus let them go?
Not immediately. He gives this great cry and gathers himself like a high-flown eagle, swooping down for the kill. He starts to pursue them.
But Zeus intervenes again.
Yes. He throws a smoky thunderbolt that lands right in front of Athene. A clear signal.
A warning shot from the king of the gods.
Exactly. Athene immediately goes to Odysseus and tells him to stop, warns him not to anger Zeus.
And Odysseus obeys.
He does. He holds back, his heart glad. The fighting stops instantly.
And peace is declared.
Right then and there, Pallas Athene, still looking like mentor, establishes the pledges of faith and friendship between the two sides, just as Zeus decreed. The war is over.
Wow. So peace comes, but it's very much imposed from above.
It is. It suggests that maybe human passions, grief, revenge, even Odysseus's battle fury are too strong. Sometimes you need divine intervention to break the cycle and enforce peace for the good of the community.
So we've covered a lot. We went down to the underworld, heard those solemn reports, got the suitors' chilling side of the story.
Witnessed that incredibly moving reunion between Odysseus and Laertes.
And saw how Ithaca was pulled back from the brink of civil war by the gods themselves, ending with this divinely enforced peace.
Yeah, it's quite an ending to the epic.
These ancient stories, they're just packed with so much, aren't they? Human emotion, godly interference.
Absolutely. They give us these amazing insights into things like justice, family bonds, memory, legacy.
And that really complicated relationship between what humans do and what fate or the gods decide.
It reminds us that even after the most justified revenge, maybe the real victory isn't the killing, but the peace that comes after.
So what's the takeaway here? Maybe it is that sometimes, like Homer shows us, the only way to truly end a cycle of violence is, well, it's peace.
Even if that peace feels a little forced.
Yeah, even if it requires forgetting, as Zeus commanded. A kind of collective agreement to move on, maybe even orchestrated by a higher power, just to let everyone have prosperity and peace again.
A peace that's not just won, but granted.
Exactly. Granted for the common good. It's
Yeah.
definitely something to think about.